Before you fall for her smile, her curves, her energy, or the way she makes you feel wanted, pause. Because not every woman who looks good in your life is good for your life. Some women don't destroy you loudly, they drain you slowly, they don't break your heart, they break your focus, they don't ruin your future directly, they distract you just long enough for you to ruin it yourself. A low-value woman doesn't come with a warning label. She comes disguised as excitement, comfort, chemistry, or, finally, someone who understands me. But look closer. Her patterns speak louder than her promises. Her habits reveal more than her words. And her energy shows you the truth long before her actions do. Men don't lose years of their life because they picked the wrong career. They lose it because they picked the wrong woman. The kind who drains your peace, mocks your goals, turns every day into emotional warfare, and slowly conditions you to believe that chaos is normal. But here's the real danger. Low-value women don't look dangerous. They look fun. They look different. They look like freedom, until you realize you're the one losing yourself. So in this video, I'm not just going to show you the 7 hidden signs of a low-value woman. I'm going to show you how to protect yourself before she turns your life into a lesson you never wanted to learn. Because a high-value man doesn't just choose wisely. He screens, observes, and walks away early. Let's begin. Part 1. She lives in emotion, not reality. You can spot this woman long before she ever shows you a red flag, if you learn to watch how she reacts, not what she says. A low-value woman is ruled by her emotions, not guided by them. Ruled. Her feelings decide her truth, her mood decides her logic, and her impulses decide her future. She doesn't think, she reacts. She doesn't reflect, she explodes. She doesn't ask, "What's the smart thing to do?" She asks, "What do I feel like right now?" And that one detail about her will cost you everything, because a woman who lives in emotional highs and lows will turn your life into the same roller coaster she's trapped in. One moment she's affectionate and soft. The next she's cold, distant, offended, crying, angry, or accusing you of something she imagined at 2 a.m. Not because you did anything wrong, but because she felt something was wrong. Here's the trap. She will convince you that emotional chaos is love, that yelling, silent treatment, guilt trips, jealousy, breakdowns, drama, and overreactions are just passion, or just how a real relationship feels. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing it. You'll mistake peace for boredom and dysfunction for intensity, but a man with purpose has no space for emotional hurricanes. You can't build a business, a mission, a legacy, or even your own mental health if you're constantly forced to babysit someone's emotional storms. And here's the real danger most men ignore. A woman who can't regulate her emotions will eventually try to control yours. When she can't calm herself, she'll demand you fix her. When she's unhappy, it will automatically become your fault. When she feels insecure, she'll attack your confidence. When she feels empty, she'll drain your energy. A mature woman feels deeply, but thinks clearly. A low-value woman feels deeply and expects the world to adjust to her weakness. That's why high-value men don't ask, "Is she hot?" They ask, "Is she stable?" Because beauty is a bonus. But emotional instability is a bill you'll keep paying long after the relationship is over. If her emotions always lead and her logic always follows, walk away. Not because she's evil, but because peace is expensive and she can't afford it. Part 2. She seeks attention, not respect. A low-value woman doesn't need love. She needs an audience. And the most dangerous part? She doesn't even realize it. She lives in a world where validation is oxygen, attention is currency, and silence is death. If nobody is looking at her, she feels invisible. If nobody is praising her, she feels irrelevant. If nobody is chasing her, she feels unworthy. She doesn't want to be valuable. She wants to look valuable. And that's why she never truly grows. She only performs. Her beauty isn't just something she has. It's something she markets. Her outfit isn't a style choice. It's a strategy. Her social media posts aren't memories. They're invitations for attention. Every like becomes proof she matters. Every comment becomes fuel. Every thirsty DM becomes a temporary ego refill. Here's what most men miss. She doesn't dress for you, she dresses for everyone and then lies that it's just confidence. A high-value woman wants admiration from the man she chose. A low-value woman wants admiration from every man she didn't. And here's the trap. At first, her attention-seeking feels exciting. You think you won the prize. You think you're the one she's choosing, but soon you'll notice something. Her addiction to external validation is stronger than her loyalty to you. She needs the world to see her, want her, desire her. Even if you already do, you will never be enough for a woman who needs strangers more than stability. You'll catch her posting photos with hidden messages. You'll notice she never truly logs off. You'll realize every compliment you give her disappears the moment the internet stops clapping. You'll start competing with her phone and losing, because attention is her drug, and you're just the dealer she'll replace when the supply feels low. A high-value man doesn't chase a woman who needs the world to approve of her. He knows this truth. If she needs attention to feel alive, she will eventually betray peace to get it. And here's the cold reality. You can't protect a woman who needs the spotlight more than she needs self-respect. You can't build a future with someone who's constantly performing for people who aren't in it. So ask yourself, does she want admiration or partnership? Does she care more about how she looks or who she is? Does she glow when she's with you or only when she's being watched? A woman who values attention will always live for the crowd. A woman who values respect will protect the man who gave it to her. Choose carefully, because the woman addicted to attention doesn't just lose herself, she'll make sure you lose yourself with her. Part 3. She turns conflict into chaos. A low-value woman doesn't solve problems. She multiplies them. To her, disagreements aren't a chance to understand each other. They're a battlefield where she must win, even if the relationship loses. She doesn't argue to find truth. She argues to protect ego. And once ego takes over, reason is the first thing to die. Watch how she handles tension. That's where her real character shows. Does she listen or does she interrupt? Does she think or does she react? Does she calm the room or does she set it on fire? A woman who values peace will slow down when emotions rise. A low-value woman speeds up. She escalates. She throws words like knives, digs up old mistakes, twists your sentences, and blames you for reactions she caused. And here's the trap. She will force you to defend yourself until you forget what the argument was even about. Suddenly, you're apologizing for her behavior. You're explaining logic to someone who already decided feelings are more valid than facts. You're trying to be calm while she uses emotion as a weapon. She doesn't want resolution. She wants domination. And the longer you stay, the more you'll adjust to survive. You'll start choosing silence over honesty. You'll start shrinking yourself to avoid triggering her. You'll become careful, not because you're wrong, but because you're tired. That's how chaos wins, not by force, but by exhaustion. Many men don't realize this until it's too late. The moment you're afraid of her reaction, the relationship is already over. A feminine, high-value woman brings warmth, softness, and emotional intelligence. She argues with clarity, not volume. She can disagree without disrespect. She knows that being right is useless if love is lost. But a low-value woman sees conflict as fuel. If things are calm, she'll pick at something. If things are peaceful, she'll disturb it. If things are going well, she'll start a fight just to feel alive again. Why? Because chaos is familiar, and peace feels empty to someone who never healed. You cannot build a future with a woman who needs war to feel connected. You cannot love someone who confuses loud emotions with deep passion. You cannot communicate with someone who treats discussion like a competition. Here's the rule. If she attacks instead of reflects, detach instead of debate. Because a woman who refuses accountability will always turn you into the villain. And one day, you'll wake up realizing you didn't lose love. You lost yourself trying to maintain it. Part 4. She repeats her past. Instead of learning from it, you can tell everything you need to know about a woman by how she talks about her past. Not by the details, by the patterns. A low-value woman doesn't have history. She has repeated cycles wearing different faces, same type of ex, same type of drama, same type of heartbreak. And somehow, she's never the common denominator. She'll tell you every man before you was toxic, abusive, unfaithful, controlling, selfish, or not on her level. And at first, you'll feel special, like you're the upgrade, the hero, the one who will finally treat her right. But here's the truth. If she's had 5 bad relationships, she didn't have 5 bad men. She had one unhealed pattern, running on repeat. A wise woman reflects. She asks, what did I allow? What did I ignore? What did I need to learn? A low-value woman never asks those questions. Growth requires self-honesty, and self-honesty requires humility, something she avoids at all costs. So instead of healing, she just changes the scenery. New man, same mind, new boyfriend, same wounds, new beginning, same ending, and this is where most men fall into the trap. They assume they will be the exception. They think, she'll change for me. I'm different, but she won't. Not because she's incapable, but because she's comfortable in the chaos she claims to hate. Comfort is her prison, and denial is the lock. A woman who is truly healed speaks differently. She admits her mistakes. She owns her decisions. She no longer blames. She understands. She doesn't repeat her past because she studied it. But a low-value woman? She doesn't want transformation. She wants distraction. She jumps into new relationships to avoid sitting alone with the one person she can't escape, herself. And the pain she won't face privately becomes the pain she spills publicly, all over the man who tried to save her. Here's the rule men must memorize. If she hasn't healed, you will become the next story she blames. Not because you did wrong, but because she refuses to admit her patterns exist. You can't build a future with someone who keeps restarting her past. You can't grow beside someone who treats repetition like destiny. You can't lead a woman who believes life just happens to her. A high-value woman evolves. A low-value woman loops. One learns, the other repeats. And if you try to love a woman stuck in a pattern, you don't rescue her. You just become the next chapter in the pattern she refuses to outgrow. Part 5. She has desires, but no direction. A low-value woman will tell you she wants a beautiful life, but she has no blueprint for it. She'll talk about success, love, happiness, travel, a dream lifestyle. Yet if you ask her for a plan, she responds with a feeling. She thinks wanting something is the same as working for it. She confuses vision with vibes. Ask her where she sees herself in 5 years, and she'll say, I just want to be happy. But happiness isn't a destination. It's the side effect of discipline, purpose, and consistency. A high-value woman builds. A low-value woman wishes. She wants money but avoids discipline. She wants a loyal man but entertains attention. She wants her dream life but lives like every day is a weekend. She wants results but rejects routines. Her biggest enemy isn't the world. It's her lack of structure. And here's the silent danger most men don't notice. Women without direction eventually drain yours. If she has no mission, you become her mission. If she has no goals, your goals start feeling like betrayal. If she has no purpose, she will turn you into her purpose and then resent you for not filling the void. A woman with no path becomes an anchor disguised as support. She'll say, I just want someone to build with, but she brings nothing to the building. No plan, no skill, no mindset, no consistency. She lives in the moment, calls impulsiveness freedom, and labels discipline as controlling. But freedom without responsibility isn't independence. It's immaturity with lipstick. The world rewards people who know where they're going, but she only knows what she wants to feel, not what she wants to build. And here's the real trap. Men mistake her free spirit for femininity. They see her spontaneity as attractive. They feel like she's exciting, unpredictable, different. But unpredictable at 22 becomes unstable at 32. Lack of structure at 25 becomes financial crisis at 40. No plan today becomes your fault tomorrow. You cannot build a future with a woman who refuses to build her own, because eventually she will expect you to carry both of yours. A high-value woman knows the difference between dreaming and doing. She plans, she saves, she learns, she grows, She invests in herself. A low-value woman just says, things will work out. But things don't work out. People work for them. If she has goals but no habits, desires but no discipline, standards but no self-control, walk away. Because a woman with no direction won't walk beside you. She'll sit on your shoulders and call it love. Part 6. She surrounds herself with women who keep her weak. You don't just date a woman, you date her habits, her mindset, her trauma, and her circle, because a woman is never just influenced by who she is shaped by who she listens to, and a low-value woman never walks alone. She moves in a tribe of women who protect her comfort, not her growth, women who gossip instead of build, women who drink away stress instead of fixing their lives, women who call dysfunction normal and accountability judgment. Watch her friends. That's the future she's walking toward. If her circle is full of women who party more than they plan, blame more than they learn, and chase attention more than stability, you're not just dating her. You're inheriting an environment designed to keep her average. A high-value woman surrounds herself with women who challenge her, guide her, elevate her, remind her of standards, and encourage discipline. A low-value woman surrounds herself with women who tell her, "Girl, you're right. He's the problem even when she's clearly wrong." Why? Because growth exposes people. If she evolves, they'll feel left behind. If she levels up, they lose the excuse to stay the same. So they don't push her to improve. They push her to stay comfortable. And here's the trap most men never see coming. You start trying to lead her toward a better life. But she's being pulled backward by 5 other women who are committed to their own stagnation. You're trying to build structure. They're trying to preserve chaos. You'll hear things like, "He's too serious. He's trying to control you. You've changed since you started talking to him." Translation: You're growing and we don't like it. Her friends don't need to destroy the relationship directly. They just need to plant doubt. Once the seed is there, her loyalty shifts, not to truth, not to logic, but to the approval of the people she fears losing. A woman who values growth chooses friends who elevate her. A woman who fears growth chooses friends who excuse her. And here's the rule every man must memorize. If her friends don't respect you, she eventually won't either. Not because she hates you, but because she needs their validation more than your leadership. Before you fall for her, don't just ask, "What is she like?" Ask, "What kind of women does she listen to?" Because one wise woman can change her future, but 5 broken ones can destroy yours. She won't rise above her circle. She will always sink to its level. And if her environment is built on gossip, jealousy, bitterness, and delusion, then loving her means drowning in a world she refuses to outgrow. Part 7. She wants a strong man, but resents his strength. Here's the final and most dangerous sign, the one that destroys good men quietly. A low-value woman wants a high-value man, but she is not prepared to respect one. She craves leadership but rejects accountability. She wants protection but mocks standards. She wants a king but behaves like a rebel in his kingdom. She'll tell you she wants a man who leads, who decides, who provides, who holds his frame. But the moment you actually lead, she calls you controlling. The moment you set a boundary, she calls you insecure. The moment you say no, she says you're toxic. She doesn't want direction. She wants authority until authority affects her comfort. A high-value woman understands that strength in a man brings order, security, clarity, and structure. A low-value woman sees all of that as a threat, not because it's wrong, but because it exposes her lack of discipline. She wants a masculine man, but only if he never challenges her emotional impulses. She wants a confident man, but only if he never makes her feel wrong. She wants a successful man, but only if she never has to level up beside him. She doesn't want partnership. She wants power, with no responsibility. So she'll praise strong men in theory and resist them in reality. She'll admire masculine traits in strangers and resent them in you. She'll ask for guidance, then fight it. She'll ask for consistency, then sabotage it. She'll ask for honesty, then punish you for speaking truth. And here's how she drains a man slowly, not by openly attacking his masculinity, but by constantly testing it. Every decision becomes a debate. Every boundary becomes an argument. Every standard becomes an issue. Until one day, you realize you're no longer leading. You're just negotiating. A woman like this forces you to either shrink your masculinity to keep the peace or walk away to protect it. And that's the real danger. She doesn't just destroy relationships. She destroys the man inside the relationship. A high-value man doesn't want submission. He wants cooperation. He doesn't want obedience. He wants alignment. He doesn't want to dominate a woman. He wants to build with her. But you cannot build with someone who thinks leadership is oppression. You cannot protect someone who mistakes discipline for control. You cannot love someone who treats masculinity as a threat she must resist, not a force she can trust. A woman who respects strength will rise with you. A woman who fears strength will fight you. Not because you're wrong, but because she cannot meet the standard she demanded. And the most painful truth? Some men don't lose because they were weak. They lose because they gave their strength to a woman who never respected it. Now you understand the truth most men don't learn until it's too late. A low-value woman doesn't destroy you in one moment. She destroys you in phases, slowly, quietly, emotionally, until you're no longer the man you were before you met her. She drains your focus, then calls you distant. She dismantles your discipline, then calls you lazy. She breaks your confidence, then says you changed. She creates emotional storms, then blames you for the weather. And while you're trying to fix her, heal her, guide her, understand her, and be the good man, you slowly forget your mission, your peace, your standards, your masculinity, yourself. The wrong woman doesn't just waste your time. She rewires your identity. But here's the power you now have. Once you see the pattern, you can never unsee it. Once you recognize the signs, you can never be fooled by them again. Once you protect your standards, you protect your future. A high-value man doesn't try to change a low-value woman. He simply doesn't choose her, because men don't rise based on the woman they love. They rise or collapse based on the woman they attach their life to. A good woman will multiply your peace. A bad one will multiply your problems. The difference isn't what you feel, it's what she brings out of you. So remember this: you don't need to save her. You don't need to fix her. You don't need to prove anything. Just observe, decide, and walk away early. Because a king doesn't argue with chaos. He simply refuses to let it through the gates. Protect your peace. Protect your purpose. Protect your future.